Too. Like there's a lot of tempting stuff on social media, like things that you want to retweet, things that you want to tweet, but you just need to keep in mind whatever you put on the internet doesn't go away. So everyone can always see that, even if you delete a tweet, it's stored in a database somewhere. So um, just be very mindful of what you're doing at all times.
And one example of that, this didn't happen to me personally or anyone that I know, but it was in the news maybe like a couple of years ago. It was a couple of Harvard students who were in a group chat sending rather inappropriate memes, and that got leaked, and their admissions decision to go there was rescinded, and so they weren't able to attend Harvard only because of a couple of memes that they sent in a group chat. And even, that's a group chat. That's more private than a Twitter profile is. So you want to be careful in not just your social media, but who you talk to and what you send and what you put out there for yourself. I do study. I went through this phase junior year where I just thought, I trusted my brain. I thought, you know what, I paid attention in class. I'll remember it later. I don't need to study. But that's not true. You can't trust your memory. You need to pay attention in class. Maybe what I would do was I would take lecture notes, and then I would take notes on the textbook, and then I would read both, and just study from that and prepare for the test that way.
Yeah, I would just say, like, you can't study too much. Like, even if you put in just a little bit of time on the weekends or maybe on Friday, like not even an hour, put in like 30 minutes just reviewing what you learned throughout the week, it's going to help you so much because the reinforcement always helps you. I'll just talk about how I study. So basically what I do is I go in my room, clear everything off my desk, and I turn off my phone because you can turn on Do Not Disturb, but your phone's always right there, and you just want to check it. So what I came to realize was if I turn off my phone, I'm gonna be too lazy to like turn it back on, wait for it to reset, blah blah blah. So I turn off my phone, throw it away, take out my books, take out whatever I need to do, and just work through it all.
And then, in addition to that, you want to study in a timely manner, not the night before your test.
Yeah.
I would do that a lot junior year, and that's definitely one thing I would change. I would trust myself. Oh, hey, no, that test is in 2 weeks. I got time. And then it came to be the night before the test, and I hadn't studied. And, you learn from all your experiences. So do it in a timely manner.
Those are where the all-nighters come from.
Oh, yeah. Me personally, I had an agenda, like a little notebook, where I would write it was like a calendar, so it had all the dates on there. And there was one section where you could see the whole month at a glimpse. And I think that really helps because you can just write like the most important deadlines, like college application deadlines or scholarship deadlines. You just write them in bold and red, underlined, highlighted. Just write it the day that something is due. And that really helps because it helps you visualize like, hey, I've got this much time left. I need to do it in a timely manner. And I also wrote just for the week or even for the day, I just wrote goals. Things that I have to get done, maybe like a to-do list or just things that I want to do in the near future. Obviously, if I wanted to reach that big goal, I needed to take a series of steps, starting from freshman year, small steps, and it would help me get to that big goal. Just things like doing your homework and preparing for assignments and studying for tests. When you do that for each class, every single piece of effort that you put in adds up in the end. And it goes for all your classes, like pay attention in class, learn the material, prepare for your tests, maybe prepare for your standardized tests, get involved, just small things like that.
All the same applies on my side too. One main goal that I had just going into high school was make sure that I maintain an A in all of my classes. because if you're getting an A in that class, it probably means that you really understand the concept. And that was like the goal that I had. And then obviously studying, paying attention in class, taking notes, all those things lead up to receiving A's in those classes. I just say that my motivation for the long-term goals was knowing that if I put in all this work, it's going to pay off in the end, and just keeping that um, the payoff in mind, or just seeing it in the future. That's what kept me moving forward, because I know that if I do this, then this is going to be the end result. So if you know that hard work is going to give you what you need, then just pushes you to keep going towards that goal.
Seventh grade, I talked about how I had that big dream or big goal. So what I did was I made like a little pennant that said Harvard on it, and I put it up in my room. And every single morning I would look at it, or every single day I would look at it. And it's kind of like a small reminder that, hey, that's the big goal. Like, sometimes you might think that this test is not worth it, this class isn't worth it, it's too hard. But you need to think in the long term, like, hey, I might have to, study for a couple hours and not go hang out with friends. But in the end, that effort is going to be worth it, because the goal that I have is greater than the small sacrifices I have to make in the present.
I'd say that they were super important, because the relationships that you make with certain people, like your teachers, your counselors, um, your mentors, they're always going to pay off, because they're older than you, they know what's going on, they've been through this process. If you establish good relationships with them, they'll be ready whenever you need help, and they'll be ready to guide you through each step. So they're extremely important.
And going off of that, there is a point during your senior year where you'll have to get with your teachers and ask them for a letter of recommendation for a scholarship, or for a college application, or you'll even have to ask your counselor for help in doing some of the components. And it helps if your counselor already knows you, at least your name, and like kind of like what your goals are, and how involved you are in school, because that helps them kind of write like a good letter for you. And it also helps teachers kind of write a genuine letter instead of one that sounds like a skeleton or like a template. And I also want to bring up like relationships with like your peers, with like friends. I am very grateful for the friends in my life, because they've helped me get to where I am. We've built a great support network. So whenever one person needs help, like, we'll help each other. Or if we want to study for the AP exams, we would get together and go to the library and study. I think it's very important to make friends that have similar goals in mind, that that want to succeed and that work towards it, because it only helps you become a better student as well.
Yeah. The relationships with your friends, they just go through all throughout high school. Like, I've been in like basically all of his classes. Maybe not the same class period, but we've definitely taken all the exact same classes. So if we needed help, just ask each other. And they're going through the whole process with you. They're going through the same stress. They're going through the same tests. All that rhymed. But yeah, it helps a lot to have friends that are just going to be like supporting you and motivating you to keep going.
It's kind of like going on a road trip. You can't go on a road trip if you don't know the route, let alone if you don't know where you're going. Me personally, I just had an idea of where I wanted to go, or what I wanted to do later in life, and just having an idea makes a huge difference. As you work towards trying to accomplish that big goal, you'll find out the steps that you need to take, or the route you need to take to get to that destination.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Whenever you whenever you set goals for yourself, it sort of just becomes like a checklist. If you have many goals for yourself, you'll always be leading yourself in the right direction, because once you get this goal done, you just sort of like you just check it off. Then you're able to move on to something bigger. And then, going through that process, you'll naturally achieve more and more and more, and then you'll get to a point where you have so many opportunities for you. So just having a little roadmap of where you want to go helps so much.
Something that I mentioned before was in order to accomplish that big goal, you need to set a lot of smaller goals. And obviously, those smaller goals are in the details. You need to pay attention to details because if you never really pay attention to details and you have a big goal, all you'll ever be is someone who dreams or someone who has an ambition, but you'll never be able to get there because you don't take the action necessary to get there in the first place. And it's also just a skill that you need to have in any career or job to be successful. Really.
And about the details, it's sort of like a puzzle, that you put together. It's easy. It's very, very easy to have a big dream, but the details are really what makes that dream happen. Just like in a puzzle, those corner pieces are the easiest to put together. That's your big dream. But what the hard part is putting everything on the inside. So those are the details. And that's what makes the puzzle, complete.
For me, it was junior year. I mean, the jump from sophomore year to junior year was very extreme for me because I went from taking 2 AP classes to taking 5. And so that jump was it took its toll on me. I can tell you that. There were a lot of moments where I had mental breakdowns. I felt like I just couldn't anymore. And so at that point, that's when I realized, the friends that I have, they can help me. They're there for a reason. And sometimes you just need to take a break from all that studying. And I learned that no single journey can be taken by yourself. You need to take advantage of the people in your life to help you, stay in that road to success or to whatever your big goal is.
The time when I was taken by surprise was when I was first introduced to this whole SAT, ACT, all this stuff, because you don't have anything like that before 10th grade. You have your STAR test, you have your tax test, you have your EOCs, but it's nothing that is going to determine which college you're going to get to and if you're going to get certain scholarships. So whenever I realized the magnitude of what this type of testing was, I was kind of like, okay, I need to take a step back. I need to find some way to master this. Because everything before had been, I can do this on my own. My teachers are there, my parents are there. This is pretty easy. But then once you go into the realm of this sort of standardized testing, it's like sometimes not even your teachers can help you. You have to go to different places to receive help in this area.
Don't let anyone tell you that you can't achieve your dream or your passion. At times, it may seem difficult because someone brings up an observation like, oh, certain people don't go into this school because of this or that. But you know what? Don't focus on what they say. You do you. Work hard. Put in that effort. Try to expand your opportunities, and you can accomplish anything that you want.
Yeah, I'd just like to stress that your work ethic is really what makes you. If you think that you're extremely talented, I can promise you there's probably other people that are as talented or more talented than you, and you can't do anything about that. But what you can do is you can put in more work than them, because you can really outwork anyone. So I think work is what will separate you from anyone else.